and welcome into the channel, Foxley Gray. And if you're here, I assume you want to know how not to starve. Let's get it. And for this lesson or tutorial, we're on official. Spawned in just north of Novoseleki. 1 PP. We have a pair. We're going to get it into us right off the hop. And what I hope to accomplish here is showing you a step-by-step process on how I survive official servers. Well, any server for that matter. First thing, knife is life. The first thing we need to do is find an edged weapon and or a tool to craft stone. That is, if we don't find any stone on any trails. Rope. Well, that takes a lot of the work out of my process, as now we don't need to focus on rag, as you can create rope for combining 2 packs of 6 rag. Where do you get rag? Well, tearing up clothing. And of course you can craft that rag from a variety of tools, from screwdrivers, hacksaws, hatchets, knives, garden hose, shovels. You can even use improvised stone knives and bone knives. And aside from building and making an improvised belt, you can use rope to craft an improvised fishing rod and hooks out of sticks, or bone for that matter. You're always going to be needing to make a fire. You can do so with just a knife, but when you find a lighter, it's just gravy. Warm jacket, we'll even throw that on. We'll save that shirt for some rag later. A rangefinder. Although not essential for immediate survival, it does come in handy even without a gun. It does provide 4x optics. And before you're able to hunt or fish, you're going to have to rely on canned food that you find laying around the environment and or fruit and mushroom. Always check your fruit trees. Fruit and mushroom will spawn into the environment with player activity. If you come across a fruit tree and you're not finding anything, hang out a little while or backtrack. Eventually, you will yield fruit on those trees. And it may be against your better judgment, but you do have to engage infected from time to time. Sometimes to carry the knife that you need or the food that you desire. Always be on the lookout for small stone when you're on dirt roads, pathways, railway tracks, and rocky areas, especially where players have frequented. If you're not seeing it, do some backtracking and hang out. You will generate some. And when it comes to fighting infected without a melee weapon, I highly recommend one at a time. You're going to get yourself in trouble biting off more than you can chew. And don't forget to aim high. The head, kids. Aim for the head. Your clothes will become damaged with each hit you take, and sometimes you're forced to drop inventory space for better insulated clothes. Without adequate insulation, your nutrition and hydration will drop as a result. And don't forget, slow your pace or drop to a crouch. Those infected have great hearing. Not to mention, when you're low on food and hydration, sprinting will only compound the issue. Now there's something you never leave home without: alcohol or iodine. Very important, especially when you get an infection. You'll see. And remember, just because you have a gun doesn't mean you need to use it. Guns primarily are for player. Avoid using them unaffected unless you're in a jam. The fruit and mushroom that you can find are going to vary in condition, from ripe, rotten, or dried. Do not eat the rotten fruit. You will get sick. However, that rotten food will still have a use. The fruit mainly, you can use that to bait snares to catch rabbit and or fox. And you can make snares by combining one small or short stick with a spool of wire. And you can also bait snares using worm. However, you are unable to prepare your food without that edged weapon, so it remains your primary focus. Knife is life. Foraging is laborious, and if you don't have the time or energy to backtrack, then you need to head to a higher traffic area. So this is going to take us closer to the coast, where players are more likely to have frequented. And although I don't recommend it in an emergency, you can still eat dried mushroom. Just don't eat a lot of it. Now we're getting closer to civilization. It won't be long now until we start seeing signs of player. And those signs are exactly what we're looking for: fruit and mushroom. Normally one's goal is to get off the coast as quick as possible. However, you need to prepare yourself for travel. Just be extra cautious and careful. There are players looking for exactly what you are. And undoubtedly you're going to get into inventory space issues. You're always going to be faced with dropping something that you don't really need. Learn to prioritize. I got rid of that magazine for the DayZ. It's highly improbable that I'm going to find one up here in the woods. I'm not going down into the city, not just yet anyway. And I highly recommend not sitting on food until you at least get yourself up into the white. We have just climbed the food chain. We now have a knife. We're set. Now I can craft rags with that shirt I was holding on to. Those 2 rags will allow me to improvise gloves that'll enable me to handle raw meat. I'm also able now to craft some improvised hooks using short stick with this knife. It's fishing time. We'll grab a long stick, we'll combine it with the rope for an improvised fishing rod, and then we'll head to the nearest body of water, which you can fish in any body of water on DayZ. However, it depends on where you fish as to what you'll catch. Fishing straight from the sea, you'll get mackerel. Fishing from streams, lakes, rivers, such as that, you're going to get carp. I'll continue searching this immediate area. I'm having good luck with the trees. Then we'll backtrack as that body of water I want to fish is behind us. We'll hit up those trees that hadn't had fruit, and we'll see if they're yielding any. You know what they say, an apple a day keeps the red screen away. Obviously not a strong poker hand, although it is hard to beat a pair. So if you ever paid attention to Saturday morning cartoons, G.I. Joe is right. Knowing is half the battle. You know where to look for food, you'll never go hungry. Before I get to the location where I plan on fishing, we're going to mitigate the time spent sitting in one spot. We'll get prepped and ready now. Using your edged weapon with a short stick, you can craft improvised hooks, and then we'll use that same knife to dig up some worms. However, knives don't last forever in DayZ, so you want to find yourself a sharpening stone or the means to make more knife, which we intend to do. And there you have it, prepped and ready to catch food. We just need water. And another location to check on the fly for food, hay bales. If any players have frequented this area, there'd be some here. But looks for now as though we're the first ones to be by in a little while. Time to get the hook wet. And I urge you, find a place that's well concealed when you're doing your fishing. You are caught in a compromising position, and if you're not watching, you're unable to defend yourself. I find true to life the best time to fish is dusk and dawn. It's widely said, give a man a fish, he'll eat for the day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for the rest of his life. Or lose his job fishing all the time. And to keep this fish, we'll definitely have to clear up some inventory space. I have a gun cleaning kit, and it's no use to me yet. So, it's gotta go. Now that we've secured fish in the bag and we have a healthy supply of fruit, gives us a little time to loot up before we cook. The next thing on our list is a water bottle. We have plenty enough fruit and fish to give us hydration, but not enough to get us into the white. We definitely need something to carry water. Meat tenderizer. This is one of them tools that you can use to craft small stone from large boulders. However, not every boulder will yield you small stone. These wet rock next to the creek, they're no good. They won't let you harvest, no matter what tool you're using. You need to find dry, rigid stone. pipe wrench is another tool that you can use to harvest stone. We'll hold on to this a little while, as it does make an excellent melee weapon as well. Not to mention, slightly more durable and lasts longer than the meat tenderizer for crafting small stone. An empty vodka bottle. I was hoping for a water bottle, but this will do. A water bottle can be doubled as an improvised suppressor when the time comes. This glass bottle, it's only good for holding water. There we go. Adequate insulation and more inventory space. It's a little out of the way, but there's a deer stand just up top of this hill. We might be able to pull a firearm out of this. And my gamble paid off. CR527. Same gauge as the BK18 that I'm holding. However, this one, you can affix a 12x scope. Not to mention, it can be coupled with a 5-round magazine. A jar of jam. We'll never say no to that. Great for getting your blood going. Now there is a water well in town, so before we leave, we're going to take the empty vodka bottle to that and probably hit the PD. Try to upgrade firearm and, well, get us a little bit more protection with a stab vest or a press vest. Pair of jump pants, not in great condition, however, we do increase our inventory space. We'll take them for now, see if we can't get a better pair of pants at the PD. There are quite a few infected in town between us, the water well, and PD. I'm going to go uphill, wrap around a little bit, and mitigate our contact. And while I do that, I'm searching for the right boulder to show you how to craft that stone. And there's one such boulder right down here by the creek bed. you'll notice the difference. The ones that aren't usable, well, they're rounded and weathered by the running water, whereas the one that's separated from the water is a bit jagged and ready to be flaked off. Larger tools will give you larger stone, which will have to be broken down further. This pipe wrench is perfect. It'll give you small stone. Now you can take these two small stone and rub them together, or you can take a single stone and just rub it against the large boulder. It'll result in the same effect. You'll craft yourself an improvised knife. You can also achieve the same result using a single bone on a large boulder, which would allow you in an emergency situation having two bone to create a knife and an improvised bone hook. And I would absolutely love to take this pipe wrench with me. However, we're lacking the inventory space, so we're just going to leave it lay right there. We'll have to source one later on. But for now, we're set up for success. I'd take those jeans in a knee-jerk reaction. However, I'm giving up 8 inventory spaces, so we'll keep the jump pants a little longer. I now have a very healthy cache of food, so we can start eating the large items. This jam is 4 spaces, and I hear chicken. We need the inventory space for that chicken. Let's go get them. Chicken meat don't take you very far, but the bones will take you forever. And now, instead of fighting my way to the PD, I think we'll just make a straight dash too. Well, there's the stab vest I'm looking for. Not in great shape, but it'll do for now. Bound to be another one in here. There we go, that stab vest is in better condition. Now that's what I'm talking about. A pumpy. We'll definitely be taking that. And before I run out of this building, just want to take a few seconds to listen. Number 1, have the infected calmed down. Number 2, do I hear player? You don't want to linger in one town too long, so I think we'll make haste, hit the water well, and split town. We have all the necessities of life taken care of. We have food, we have an edged weapon, we have adequate clothing, well, adequate for now. We have water, we have firearms. Now all we need to do is get to a safe place and do some cooking. Myself personally, I think I'm going to head back into the city and specifically head to the fire station. There's where you're going to find the most adequate clothing to carry you on your way. We'll loot up the last few houses and then we'll make tracks to the city. You also want to get in the habit when you enter a building to pause for a few seconds and listen. Well, I think there's no time like the present to beat feet. We've been in this town far too long, and it's only a matter of time before another survivor comes rolling through, looking to take what we've already collected. So, I hope the few tips and tricks that I've had for you has helped you along the way and set yourself up to success. If you enjoyed watching, drop a like, a comment, and maybe we'll continue this specific series.